Hi friends, welcome to my channel. I am Sunique and this is the next in my Decan videos, and here I'm talking about the Seven of Pentacles. In the astrological wheel, this one runs from the 11th to the 21st of May, and its associated majors are the World and the Hierophant. So let's talk a little bit about Saturn, because Saturn is aligned to the World card. And it's all about long-term goals, realistic concerns, caution. It limits us. Its title is actually the Lord of Time. He looks like a Lord of Time, doesn't he? Saturnus. And actually reveals challenges, which goes really well with this Seven of Pentacles. I'll come on to that in a second. I'll just talk about the planets first and the astrological associations. So Hierophant is Taurus. We've got the ball there for Taurus. So what's Taurus about? Well, it's a productive sign, isn't it? It's about practical resources and actually offers solutions as well. It's a very practical, grounding energy. And as for the suit of Pentacles itself, well, that's a very slow energy as well. So the other thing I think to take into account is the actual number 7, which is Netzach on the Tree of Life. I'll put a little image up here. What I thought about the sevens is the fact that it's made up of a 4 and a 3, and a 4 is very stable, it's a stable base, whereas 3 is all about growth. So we're looking at growing from a stable base, maybe? So if we want to grow from this stable base, Saturn asks us, is it the right time? So that's interesting, isn't it? Is it the right time? And maybe this figure here is asking also, is this the right time? Is this the right time to carry on, or is this the right time to quit and do something else? And the reason I'm sort of seeing that as well is because we've got these already established pentacles here on the tree or the bush, and one is on the ground. Now then, so if we take these here 6 pentacles and we think, okay, this is what we've been working really, really hard on, and it's looking as if it's not working. I'm looking at this and thinking, is it worth carrying on? Or is it worth trying something new? Which could be what this little pentacle on its own here is all about. Maybe that is the ace again, asking us to abandon here what we've been working on for something new. And what else can I see here is the fact that we've got one red boot, one brown. And this brown is the colour of earth, isn't it? Being grounded, like our Taurus energy here. And red is a more active, fiery energy. So that is right by that pentacle. So maybe this figure here is thinking, should I, shouldn't I? 1 foot in, 1 foot out. What do I do? Now, while looking at this card and researching a little bit deeper, there's a few contradictions about what this card means. If you look at the Thoth version, it actually says failure. So we could take from that the fact that this crop is actually failing. And that leads on to one of the associations of this card, which is with the potato blight. So between about 1845 1852 is about a 7-year history of famine and starvation in Ireland due to this potato blight that ruined crops. And I think you can see why it's assigned to this card when you look at some of those leaves. They don't look too healthy. So anyway, I'm just going to read a little bit off the internet about the potato blight and the consequences of that. So it says between 1845 and 1855, more than 1.5 million adults and children left Ireland to seek refuge in America. Most were desperately poor and many were suffering from starvation and disease. They left because disease had devastated Ireland's potato crops, leaving millions without food. The potato famine killed more than 1 million people in 5 years and generated great bitterness and anger at the British for providing too little help to their Irish subjects. The immigrants who reached America settled in Boston, New York and other cities where they lived in difficult conditions, but most managed to survive, and their descendants have become a vibrant part of American culture. So, that is from crf-usa.org if you're interested in knowing more about that. Okay. There's also sort of a dissatisfaction, isn't there, as well with this card? I may be thinking, is this all that there is? Is this it? Am I just going to drudge on and on and on and on? Or am I going to actually, see life, explore, do something else, something that I'm more passionate about? I mean, it seems this is like just drudge and hard work for little reward. Whereas, a passion project might be calling here. There's like a restless energy to it. It's reached a plateau, which is the 4, the stable base. And now it just wants to actually grow and develop further. Maybe step out of this comfort zone and take a chance on something else. I mean, there are no guarantees in life. We have to, whatever we do, we have to, I think, accept failure as being part of the process. It's a learning curve, really, isn't it? Failure does not actually mean it's all over and done with. What failure actually means is, yeah, I've learned from that and I'm going to take that lesson and I'm going to incorporate it into starting again, maybe with that ace there, with a bit more knowledge now and a bit more information, so I've got a better chance of success next time. Here we have these 6 pentacles. Maybe they're the known part, what we know. We know now. We've learned from this. But this is the unknown. This little ace here, this is the unknown. So do we just keep toiling and toiling on something that's looked like it's going to fail? Or shall we take a chance on something else? Is this all there is to our world? Are we confined? Are we just confined to this drudgery of a life? Or can the Hierophant teach us that there's something more? There's something beyond the day-to-day, which I think is the message of the Hierophant, isn't it? Don't get caught up in the drudgery. So here, like I say, we've got this guy critically judging his life. And Saturn, of course, is all about discipline and rules, limitations, restrictions, hard work. Where Taurus is more about achievement. But then there's that fear of success, as well as the fear of failure. Maybe this figure here is a little bit scared of what success is. Scared to take a chance. Maybe stay with the known. So if you look at the Vision Quest Tarot, which is this one, then in their depiction of the 7 of Earth, or the 7 of Pentacles, then we do see this failure of the crops that we see in the Thoth very clearly. And in this deck, the Wheel of Change Tarot, this one here, we can see why we need our crops to actually succeed, because it brings us food to the table. And food is life. And of course we need food to produce life, don't we? To bring new life into the world, we need to be able to nourish them. And this pregnancy motif is echoed in the Osho Zen Tarot as well, because here we've got patience, which is maybe another aspect of the 7 of Pentacles, having patience to know when is the right time, as Saturn says. When is the right time? When is the optimum time to actually bring new life, new growth into the world? And we can see this with the phases of the moon as well. echoing time. And in this deck, the Outgrow Yourself Tarot and Oracle, the card aligned here with failure, the failure card in the Thoth, is this one here, and it says you only fail when you stop trying. So that's the contradiction, really, isn't it, with the Seven of Pentacles? Do we stop trying and accept that failure? Because, as I said before, I think failure is actually a part of life. How can we attempt anything if we fear failure? Failure is part of it. Failure is part of understanding how to succeed next time. So I was looking at Tarot Avatara, one of the decks I absolutely adore, by Gabby Angus-Wurst. Love this deck. And going back to that theme of pregnancy, this is quite, I hope not triggering for people, but this is a card that deals with childlessness, or not being able to produce a living child, and the agony that comes from that. So I'm coming back here to time again, and the Lord of Time, and timing being right or timing not being right, or maybe this is not the lifetime that we envisioned. As women that have a womb, this is a difficult subject because not everybody is fertile, not everybody is able to bring a child to full term and living and bring them up. It's just part of life. So do we see that as the fact that we're failing in our role as a woman, that we cannot fulfill the role of a mother? Like I say, I hope that's not too triggering for people, but it is actually something that hit home to me with this card. So maybe we've tried many times to get pregnant and bring a child into this world, and we have failed. And that is a real stigma, actually. It's a real stigma. I mean, back in Henry VIII's days, you could get your head chopped off. You know, it's a barren woman is to be shunned, even in the Bible. Anyway, I'm not going to go much further down that path because it's quite contentious. But as a woman who cannot produce children myself, I understand this aspect of failure and how deep it goes. I will read you the entry from Tarot Avatara because I think it's said here a lot better than I can. So this is written as if it's Frida Kahlo's own journal or diary, and it says, "This is too sad. My losses are too many. I can't make them seem less real. I can't zoom out far enough to find the perspective which might save me. Only tears are real. The sadness is felt, the pain and the losses are really there. The result is I have nothing. We have no children. No tangible offspring from our love. I want a real future. I want to give life. I want to breastfeed. I want to produce life." And it goes on. Yeah, so I think that is an aspect worth thinking about when we're looking at the Seven of Pentacles, that you might actually not have associated with that card. So this is an interesting book called The Instant Tarot Reader. It's Monty Faber and Amy Zerner. Done quite a few decks actually. So what they do here is they take one card and they put it in each position of a Celtic cross. And for the Seven of Pentacles we have frustration, if I can find it. Frustration as the key word. So, and they put it in every position. So you, what's around you, what blocks you, your foundation, what is behind you, what crowns you, what is before you, and your persona. So it says you need to cope with frustration. If hard work has not paid off as you planned, remember that expectations are almost always unreasonable. There are no guarantees. Be grateful, focus on the present, and do what you can with what you have. So yeah, that's good advice, I think. So what I normally do is the Crystal Magic Tarot, and the crystals are assigned to the cards. But for the Seven of Pentacles, there isn't a crystal assigned to it in that deck. So I've already spoken about the crystals assigned to the World and the Hierophant. So the World would be turquoise, and the Hierophant is sodalite. So as I said, I've already spoken about those in previous videos, and so I'm not going to repeat myself. But what I did instead, or as well as, because I do this every month, is I worked with Tarot by the Moon. I love this book. Victoria Constantino, which gives tarot spreads throughout. So I did the one called The Untrodden Path. And I use the Light Seers Tarot for this, which is this one here by Chris Ann. Love that deck. And yeah, that was a really good spread. So I think instead of showing you my scrappy writing, I'll just show you in the book. And I think it's a really useful spread. Actually, there it is, The Untrodden Path. So that's the spread set up there, which is a path, an 8-card spread. And here are the questions for each position. So the first one, where do I need to forge my own path? Second, what underbrush do I need to clear? Third one, what is the best way forward? 4, where does the path lead? 5, some hidden surprises along the way. 6, some potential stumbling blocks I need to be aware of. 7, what can I do to prepare? And 8, advice from my inner being. Now this actually isn't assigned to a specific tarot card per se, but I thought it went really well with the Seven of Pentacles, because we need to know which path to tread, don't we? If we're trying to decide whether to stick with what we know, with the 6 Pentacles we are familiar with, even though it's not going too well, or to go with the Ace and start all over again on a new project with our fiery enthusiasm here, then maybe let's look at that untrodden path. Let's do that tarot spread to see what that untrodden path could reveal. And I thought that was a really good way of working with the Seven of Pentacles. So anyway, those are my thoughts, my findings, my delve into this Decan. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, until the next time, thank you so much for watching. Bye for now, friends. Bye.